I want you to pay close attention to these words, for they contain within them the very essence of the law that governs all creation. You see, my dear friends, the world you perceive around you is nothing more than a reflection of your own consciousness. It is a mirror that faithfully reproduces the contents of your mind, your beliefs, and most importantly, your imagination. Let us begin by understanding the fundamental truth: you are God. Yes, you heard me correctly. You are God, individualized and made manifest in human form. The I am within you is God, and there is no other. This realization is the foundation upon which all manifestation rests. For when you truly understand and accept this truth, you will come to know that all power resides within you. Now you might be wondering, Wayne, how can I possibly manifest anything in just 48 hours? The answer, my friends, lies in the power of your imagination, coupled with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You see, creation is finished. All possible states already exist in the infinite mind, I, which is your own wonder, which is. Your task is not to create, but to select and occupy the state that you desire to experience. Let me share with you a simple yet profound technique that, when applied with unwavering faith and persistence, can bring about miraculous changes in your life within 40 hours. I call this technique living in the end. It is the art of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, of experiencing in your imagination the reality you desire as if it were already a fact in your world. To begin, you must first clearly define what it is you wish to manifest. Be specific, my dear friends. The more clearly you can articulate your desire, the more powerfully you can imagine it. Once you have identified your desire, close your eyes and create a scene in your mind that implies the fulfillment of your wish. Make this scene as vivid and as real as possible. Engage all your senses. What do you see? What do you fear? What do you smell? What do you taste? For example, your desire is to manifest a new job. Imagine yourself sitting in your new office. Feel the texture of the chair beneath you. Look around and notice the details of your surroundings. Hear the sounds of your colleagues congratulating you on your new position. Feel the sense of pride and accomplishment that comes with achieving your goal. Now, here's the crucial part. You must persist in this imaginative act until it takes on the tone of reality. You must continue to dwell in this state, to live in the end, until you can no longer differ between your imagination and your experience and your physical reality. This is what I mean when I say an assumption, the false it persisted in will harden into fact. Remember, my friends, imagination creates reality. What you assume to be true, what you feel to be real, must and will objectify itself in your world. This is the law, and it is infallible. Your three-dimensional world is nothing more than an outpicturing of your inner, four-dimensional reality. Now, you might be thinking, but Wayne, surely it takes more than just imagining to make things happen in a real world. Let me assure you, it does not. Your imagination is the very substance of reality. It is the creative power of the universe, individualized as you. When you imagine and feel your wish fulfilled, you are literally rearranging the substance of the universe to conform to your assumption. Consider the words of William Blake. What seems to be is to those to whom it seems to be, and is productive of the most dreadful consequences to those to whom it seems to be. In other words, what you perceive to be real becomes real in its consequences. This is why it's crucial to carefully select the state you wish to occupy, for you will inevitably bear the fruit of that state. Let's delve deeper into the practice of living in the end. As you go about your day, carry with you the feeling of you are fulfilled. Let every action, every word, every thought be colored by the assumption that you are already the person you wish to be, that you already have what you desire. This is what it means to pray without ceasing. It is a constant, unbroken assumption of the reality of imagined state. Now, some of you might be wondering about the significance of the 48-hour period mentioned in our title. My dear friends, time is a construct to the human mind. In the realm of imagination, in the realm of God, there is no time. All is eternally all. However, in our three-dimensional experience, we perceive the passage of time. The 48-hour period is simply a focal point, a target for your faith and expectation. When you fully embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you completely accept it as your present reality, you set in motion forces beyond your conscious understanding. These forces work tirelessly to bring about the conditions and circumstances necessary for the externalization of your assumption. Often, this process happens much faster than you might expect, hence the 48-hour reference. But let me be clear, do not become fixated on the time frame. Your task is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to live in the end, regardless of any seeming delays or contradictions in your outer world. Remember the words of Scripture, "Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." Now let's address a common stumbling block that many encounter on this path. You may find that as you attempt to live in your imaginal reality, your physical senses bombard you with evidence to the contrary. You might be tempted to give in to doubt, to abandon your assumption in the face of seeming failure. This, my friends, is the true test of your faith. In such moments, recall the words of Paul, "We walk by faith, not by sight." Your physical senses show you the world of effects, but your imagination does not. Your physical senses show you the world of effects, but your imagination deals with the world of causes. Persist in your assumption, no matter what your senses tell you. For it is your persistent assumption that will ultimately reshape your world. Consider the story of the fig tree in the Bible. Jesus seeing a fig tree with no fruit trusted. The next day, Peter noticed that the tree had withered from the roots. This parable beautifully illustrates the power of assumption. Jesus did not wait to see the tree wither before believing it. He assumed it to be so and went on his way. The physical manifestation followed the assumption. In the same way, you must make your assumption and then go about your day, knowing with unwavering faith that what you have assumed must, in the middle, come to pass. This is the art of detachment. You plant the seed in your imagination, and then you let it grow, trusting in the law that governs all creation. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Wayne, what if I have conflicting desires? What if I'm not sure exactly what I want to manifest? This is a common concern, and it brings us to an important point. The power of your imagination is infinite, but it requires direction. You must be specific about what you want. If you find yourself torn between different desires, take some time to reflect on what truly resonates with your innermost being. What aligns with your highest good? What brings you a sense of fulfillment and joy when you imagine it? This is where the practice of meditation can be immensely helpful. Quiet your mind, go within, and listen to the voice of your highest self. Once you have clarity about your desire, commit to it fully. Do not waver between states. Choose the state that represents the fulfillment of your wish and occupy it completely. Remember, you can revise your choice at any time, but while you are assuming a particular state, give it your full attention and belief. Let's take a moment to address another crucial aspect of this practice is the feeling. It's not enough to merely visualize everything that you desire. You must feel it. You must emotionally embody the state of having your wish fulfilled. Emotion is the fuel that powers your imagination and brings your asthma to life. When you imagine your desired reality, allow yourself to feel the joy, the excitement, the gratitude that would naturally go with the fulfillment of your wish. Let these feelings permeate your entire being, for it is the feeling that gives life to your imaginal acts. Consider the words of Wayne and awaken the imagination of your inner being. Consider the words of Wayne. An awakened imagination works with a purpose. It creates and conserves the desirable and transforms or destroys the undesirable. Your feelings are the indicator of which state you are currently occupying. If you find yourself feeling anxious, not doubtful, recognize that these feelings are creating undesirable conditions in your life. Immediately shift your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is the transformative power of your imagination of Earth. Now let's explore a powerful technique that can help you maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled throughout your day. I call this technique the congratulate scene. Imagine a scene where a friend or loved one is congratulating you on achieving your desire. Hear their words of praise and congratulations. Feel the warmth of their embrace. Allow yourself to fully experience the joy and satisfaction of this moment. Replay this congratulatory scene in your mind whenever you need to reinforce your assumption. Use it as a touchstone to bring you back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The more you practice this, the more natural and real it will become until it permeates your entire consciousness. Remember, my dear friends, your imagination is not bound by the limitations of your physical world. In your imagination, you can do or have anything you desire. There are no restrictions, no limitations, except those you impose upon yourself. Therefore, dare to imagine greatly. Dare to assume the best for yourself and for others. As we continue our exploration of this profound law, let us consider its implications in our daily lives. Every moment of every day, you are using your imagination, whether consciously or unconsciously. Every thought and every assumption is shaping your reality. This realization brings with it great responsibility, but also a great opportunity. You have the power to consciously direct your imagination towards the fulfillment of your desires. You have the ability to choose the states you will occupy and thus the experiences you will have. This is true freedom, my friends. It is the freedom to create your life exactly as you wish it to be. Now, some of you might be wondering about the road of action in this process. Surely, you might think you might need to do something in the physicality, in that physical world to bring about my desire. Let me clarify this point. Actually, it's important, but it must be inspired action. Action that flows naturally from your assumption. When you truly live in the end, when you fully occupy the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally taking the actions that align with that state. These actions will not feel force-trained. They will feel natural and effortless because they are simply an expression of who you have become in your imagination. Consider the example of a person who desires to be a successful author. This person doesn't need to force themselves to write. Instead, they assume the state of being a successful author. They live from that state, feeling the satisfaction and joy of having written best-selling books. From this assumed state, the act of writing flows naturally and joyfully. It becomes an expression of who they are rather than a thought they want to complete. This is the difference between inspired action and forced action. Inspired action comes from being, while forced action comes from a sense of lack or need. Always remember being for safe doing. First, be the person who has what you desire, and the doing will follow naturally. Now, let's address a question that often arises. What about other people? Don't they have their own free will? How can my imagination affect them? This is a profound question, and it touches on the very nature of reality itself. Remember, my dear friends, there is only one consciousness. The I am within you is the same I am that animates all of creation. When you change your conception of yourself, you change your conception of others. As you assume a new state for yourself, you are simultaneously assuming a state for you statement in your world. This doesn't mean you're controlling others or infringing on their free will. Rather, you're experiencing a different version of them that aligns with your new state. In essence, you're moving into a parallel reality where everyone plays the part that fits your new assumption. This understanding liberates you from the need to change others or to manipulate external circumstances. Your only task is to change yourself, to assume the state of consciousness that aligns with your desire. As you do this, you will find that others naturally conform to your new assumption. Let's take a moment to address a common concern that often arises when people first encounter these teachings. You might be thinking this sounds too good to be true. Surely, there must be some catch, some limitation to what I can manifest. My dear friends, the only limitations that exist are those you accept and don't accept. My dear friends, the only limitations that exist are those you accept in your own mind. The power of your imagination is truly infinite. It is the very creative power of the universe, individualized as you. Therefore, there is nothing you cannot be, do, or have when you align your imagination with the highest good. However, it's important to understand that this power comes with great responsibility. As you begin to grasp the magnitude of your creative ability, you must also cultivate wisdom and compassion. Use your imagination to create not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of all. For in truth, there is no separation between you and others. We are all one, expressions of the same divine consciousness. Now, let's delve deeper into the practical application of this law. How can you ensure that you maintain your desired state consistently over the 48-hour period and beyond? The key lies in persistence and faith. Persistence means continuing in your assumption, regardless of any seeming contradictions in your outer world. It means holding fast to your imaginal reality, even when your senses scream otherwise. This persistence is what separates those who succeed in manifesting their desires from those who give up too soon. Faith, on the other hand, is not mere belief. It is the evidence of things not seen. It is the absolute cohesion that what you have assumed in your imagination is already a reality on the unseen plans and must therefore manifest in your visible world. This faith is unshakable, for it is based on your understanding of the law that governs all creation. To strengthen your persistence in faith, I recommend the practice of revision. At the end of each day, review the events of your day in your imagination. If any event didn't align with your desired state, revise it in your mind. See it playing out exactly as you would have wanted it to. Feel the satisfaction and joy of this revised version. This practice of revision serves two purposes. First, it reinforces your desired state, keeping you aligned with your assumption. Second, it demonstrates to you the malleability of reality. As you practice revision, you'll begin to understand experientially that reality is fruit responsive to your consciousness. Another powerful technique to maintain your state is the use of affirmations. These are not mere positive statements, but declarations of truth about your desired reality. Speak these affirmations with feeling, knowing that they are already true on the unseen plans. For example, if your desire is financial abundance, you might affirm, I am wealthy beyond measure. Money flows to me easily and abundantly. Say these words with conviction, feeling the truth of them in every fiber of your being. Let the feeling these words evoke permeate your entire consciousness. Remember that the words themselves are not magic. It's the feeling they evoke, the state they put you in, that creates the bridge between your current reality and your desired reality. Always couple your affirmations with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, as we approach the final stretch of our 48-hour manifestation period, it's crucial to address the concept of detachment. This might seem contradictory at first. How can you live in the state of your wish fulfilled, your wishful simultaneously detached from the outcome? The key is to understand that detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means trusting in the law, knowing that what you have assumed must come to pass. It means relinquishing anxiety and doubt, and resting in the certainty of your assumption. Think of it this way: when you plant the seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust in the natural process of growth. You water it, provide sunlight, and then you let it be. This is the kind of detachment I'm talking about. Plant the seed of your desire in your imagination, nurture it with your assumption, and then let it grow. As we near the end of our 48-hour period, you might find yourself becoming anxious or impatient to see results. This is natural. It's important to resist the urge to look for signs or to test the law. Remember what the world is a reflection of your inner state. If you're constantly looking for proof, you're actually assuming a state of lack or doubt. Instead, continue to live from the state of your wish fulfilled. Go about your day with the calm assurance that your desire is already yours. Let go of the when and how. Trust that the infinite intelligence of the universe knows the perfect timing and the perfect way to bring your assumption into physical reality. Now, let's address a question that often arises. What if I don't see my desire manifested within 48 hours? My dear friends, remember that time is a construct of the human mind. In the realm of imagination, in the realm of God, there is no time. Your task is not to make your desire happen within a certain time frame, but to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilling regardless of outer appearances. If the 48-hour period passes, and you haven't seen physical evidence of your desire, do not be discouraged. This is not a failure, but an opportunity to deepen your faith and strengthen your assumption. Continue to live in the end. Persist in your assumption. For it is written, the vision has its own appointed hour. It ripens, it will flower. If it belong, then for it is sure, and it will not be late. Remember, the law is infallible. What you assume with feeling must objectify within your world. Sometimes the seed you've planted needs more time to germinate. Sometimes things need to re-erase themselves in the invisible realm before they can manifest in the visible. Your job is to hold fast your assumption to continually in the end, knowing that the desire must come to pass. As we conclude our exploration of this profound law, I want to remind you of a fundamental truth. You are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything you perceive is a reflection of your own wonderful human imagination. This understanding brings with it immense power, but also great responsibility. Use this power wisely. Use it to create a life of joy, abundance, and fulfillment, not just for yourself, but for all of humanity. For in truth, there is no separation between you and others. We are all one, expressing the same divine consciousness. My dear friends, you now have in your possession the key to unlocking the infinite potential of your imagination. You understand that by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled by living in the end, you can manifest anything in your world. Go forth now and apply this law in your life. Test it for yourself, for it is in the application in the living of this truth that you will truly come to know its power. Remember, your imagination is the very substance of reality. Use it consciously, use it lovingly, and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. In closing, I want to leave you with these words. You are divine. You are limitless. You are the creator of your reality. Embrace this truth, live from this understanding, and nothing will be impossible for you. The world is yours to shape according to your highest vision. Thank you, my wonderful friends, for your attention and your presence. May you go forth and create a life beyond your wildest dreams. For truly, with your imagination as your guide, anything is possible. Anything can be manifested, and it all begins with this simple yet profound practice. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, live in the end, and watch as your world transforms to match your assumption. Remember, you are not bound by your past, by your current circumstances, or by what others think is possible for you. You are bound only by the limits of your own imagination. And as we've discovered, that imagination is infinite in its potential. So dream big, my friends. Imagine greatly. Assume states that fill you with joy, with excitement, with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. For as you do so, you are quite literally reshaping the substance of the universe to match your assumption. And remember, this is not a one-time event. This is a way of life. Continue to use your imagination consciously. Continue to assume the states you desire, and you will find that your life becomes an ever unfolding miracle, a constant demonstration of the created power that resides within you. Go now and put this law to the test. Live these next 48 hours from your wish fulfilled. Feel it, embody it, become it, and know with absolute certainty that what you are assuming must and will manifest in your world. You are the author of your life story. Write it beautifully, write it boldly, and watch as the universe conspires to make your grandest visions into reality. For truly, with your imagination as your ally, there are no limits to what you can achieve, what you can manifest. The power is yours. The choice is yours. The life you desire is yours for the taking. Simply assume it, feel it, live it, and must be so. This is the law, and it cannot fail. Thank you, my dear friends. May your journey of conscious creation be filled with joy, wonder, and endless possibilities. Remember always, you are God individualized, and your imagination is the creative power of the universe. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, and watch as miracles unfold in your life. Go forth now and create the life of your dreams, for it is your divine right and your sacred responsibility. The world awaits your creative touch. Shape it with love, with wisdom, and with the full power of your awakened imagination. My dear friends, I want you to clear your mind of all preconceptions. Forget everything you think you know about how the world works, about cause and effect, about struggle and achievement. For the next hour or so, I invite you to open yourself to a new understanding, a new way of being in the world that is as effortless as it is powerful. The world you see around you, the circumstances of your life, the very fabric of your reality, all of this is nothing more than an outward projection of your inner state of consciousness. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your assumptions about yourself and the world, these are the true creators of your experience. Now, many of you may have heard this before. You may even intellectually accept it as true. But tonight, I want you to go beyond mere intellectual understanding. I want you to feel this truth in the very marrow of your bones. For it is only when you truly internalize this principle that you can begin to grasp the immense power that lies dormant within you. Consider for a moment the natural world around us. Does a seed struggle to become a tree? Does it strain and push against the soil, forcing itself to grow? Of course not. The seed simply is, and in being it becomes. It contains within itself the perfect pattern of its full expression. And given the right conditions, it naturally and effortlessly grows into that expression. You, my dear friends, are no different. You too contain within you the seed of your desires, the perfect pattern of your ideal life. And just like the seed, you do not need to force your desires into being. You need only to provide the right conditions for their natural unfoldment. But what are these conditions, you may ask? They are nothing more, nothing less than your state of consciousness, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. These are the soil in which the seeds of your desires take root and grow. Now, let us delve deeper into what it means to force things in your life. When you force, you're operating from a place of lack, of desperation. You're saying to the universe, I do not have what I want and I must struggle and strive to get it. But in doing so, you are affirming the very lack you seek to overcome. Think about it. If you truly believe that you already possess what you desire, would you need to force it? Of course not. You would simply relax into the knowing that it is already yours. This, my friends, is the great secret, the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the absolute conviction that what you desire is already yours. This is the key that unlocks the door to your desires. But how, you may wonder, can we cultivate this feeling of the wish fulfilled? How can we convince ourselves of something that does not yet appear to be true in our outer world? The answer lies in the power of your imagination. Your imagination, dear ones, is not some frivolous faculty for daydreaming. It is the very workshop in which your reality is forged. What you imagine with feeling, with conviction, becomes the blueprint that your outer world must inevitably conform to. Though instead of forcing, instead of struggling and striving, I urge you to use your imagination. Create a scene in your mind that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and as real as you possibly can. Engage all your senses. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. This is the crucial part. You must persist in this imaginal act. You must return to it again and again, not with effort or strain, but with the calm assurance that what you're imagining is, in fact, your reality. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Wayne, surely we must take action in the world to achieve our goals. And to this I say, yes, action is indeed necessary. But it is inspired action, effortless action, action that flows naturally from your changed state of consciousness. When you have truly assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will find that the right actions present themselves to you. Opportunities will appear as if by magic. The people and circumstances necessary for the realization of your desire will be drawn to you by an invisible force. This, my friends, is the law in operation. It is not something external to you, not some capricious force that must be appeased or manipulated. It is simply the way consciousness expresses itself in the world. Let me give you an example to illustrate this principle. Imagine a young man who desires to be wealthy. If he operates from a consciousness of lack, he might force himself to work long hours, to scrimp and save every penny to pursue get-rich quick schemes. He might even achieve a measure of financial success through these methods. But at what cost? His life becomes a constant struggle, a never-ending battle against scarcity. But suppose this same young man were to change his consciousness. Suppose he were to assume the feeling of being wealthy. He would imagine himself living in abundance, enjoying financial freedom, sharing his wealth generously. He would persist in this assumption until it became a conviction, a knowing. What would happen then? He might be inspired to start a business that aligns perfectly with his talents and passions. He might encounter a mentor who guides him to lucrative opportunities. He might even receive an unexpected inheritance or windfall. The specifics don't matter. What matters is that his outer world would inevitably conform to his inner conviction of wealth. All of this would unfold naturally, effortlessly. There would be no need for force, no need for struggle. The young man would simply follow the path that naturally opens up before him, guided by his inner knowing of abundance. This, my dear friends, is what I mean when I say don't force anything. It's not about passivity or inaction. It's about aligning yourself with the natural flow of life, with the law that governs all things. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Wayne, what about the challenges and obstacles we face in life? Surely we must overcome these through effort and struggle. You call challenges and obstacles are nothing more than the outpicturing of your own limiting beliefs and assumptions. When you force against these apparent obstacles, you are in fact reinforcing the very consciousness that created them. You are saying to the universe, yes, this is real, this is solid, this is something I must fight against. And in doing so, you give it even more power over you. But what if, instead of forcing against these obstacles, you were to simply assume that they do not exist? What if you were to live from the assumption that the path to your desire is clear and open? You would find, much to your amazement, that the obstacles dissolve of their own accord, or that solutions present themselves with ease and grace. Remember, my friends, the outer world is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your inner state. Change the inner, and the outer must follow. Now, let's consider another aspect of this principle of not forcing. Many of you, in your quest for spiritual growth and understanding, may have encountered teachings that emphasize discipline, effort, and control. You may have been told that you must force yourself to think positive thoughts, that you must struggle against negative emotions, that you must exert iron control over your mind. But I say to you, this too is a form of forcing, and it is ultimately counterproductive. For in attempting to control your thoughts and emotions through sheer willpower, you are implicitly affirming their power over you. You are saying these thoughts, these emotions are real and powerful. Instead, I urge you to simply observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, without resistance. See them for what they are, temporary states of consciousness that have no power other than that which you give them. And then, gently but firmly, turn your attention to the state you wish to embody. This is not forcing but allowing. It is not struggle but surrender to your true self, to the God within you that is the source of all creation. Let me share with you a personal experience that illustrates this principle. Many years ago, when I first began to explore these truths, I found myself in dire financial straits. Bills were piling up, creditors were calling, and I could see no way out of my predicament. My first instinct was to force a solution. I worked longer hours, I scrimped and saved, I worried and fretted, but the more I forced, the worse my situation became. It was as if the universe was conspiring against me, closing every door I tried to push open. Then, in a moment of quiet desperation, I remembered the truth I had been studying. I realized that my outer circumstances were merely a reflection of my inner state of lack and limitation. And in that moment, I made a decision to change instead of focusing on my apparent lack, I began to imagine myself as financially secure. I created a scene in my imagination where I was paying my bills with ease, where money flowed to me abundantly, where I lived in a state of joyful prosperity. At first, it felt like pretending, but I persisted. Night after night, I would fall asleep in this imaginal scene. I would carry the feeling of financial abundance with me throughout my day. I refused to be moved by the apparent facts of my outer world. And then, my friends, the miracle occurred. Within a matter of weeks, my financial situation began to change. A business opportunity presented itself that I would never have noticed in my previous state of consciousness. Money began to flow from unexpected sources. Before I knew it, all my debts were paid, and I was living in the very state of prosperity I had imagined. None of this required force or struggle on my part. Once I had changed my inner state, the outer circumstances of my life rearranged themselves naturally, effortlessly to match that state. All I had to do was to follow the promptings of my intuition, to take the inspired actions that naturally arose from my new state of consciousness. This, my dear friends, is the power that lies within each and every one of you. You do not need to force your good into being. You need only to assume the feeling of already being, doing, or having that which you desire. The rest will follow as naturally as day follows night. Now, I can sense that some of you may be struggling with this concept. You may be thinking, but Wayne, I've tried to imagine my desires as fulfilled and nothing has changed. Am I doing something wrong? Be patient with yourself. Remember, you are undoing a lifetime of habitual thinking and feeling. You are challenging deeply ingrained beliefs about the nature of reality itself. This is no small task, and it may take time and persistence, but do not mistake persistence for force. Persistence is simply the consistent application of a principle. It is returning again and again to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not with strain or effort, but with calm assurance. Think of it this way. When you plant a seed in the ground, you dig it up every day to see if it's growing. Of course not. You trust in the natural process of growth. You provide the right conditions, water, sunlight, fertile soil, and then you allow the seed to do what it naturally does. Your desires are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Provide the right conditions, the feeling of fulfillment, the assumption of already being what you wish to be, and then allow the natural process of manifestation to unfold. This allowing, this trust in the law, is the very opposite of forcing. It is a state of relaxed awareness, of knowing that what is yours must inevitably come to you. Now let us address another common misconception. Some of you may be thinking, but Wayne, if I don't force things, if I don't strive and struggle, won't I become lazy and unproductive? My dear friends, nothing could be further from the truth. When you align yourself with the law, when you live from the state of the wish fulfilled, you will find yourself more energized, more inspired, more productive than ever before, but it will be a different kind of productivity. It will not be the frantic activity of someone driven by fear and lack. It will be the joyful, purposeful activity of someone who knows their own power, who trusts in the perfect unfoldment of their good. You see, when you force, you are operating from your limited egoic self. You are trying to make things happen through sheer willpower. But when you allow, when you trust in the law, you are aligning yourself with the infinite power of your true self, of the God within you. And this power, my friends, is limitless. It knows no bounds. It can accomplish in a moment what might take years of forced effort, but it operates according to spiritual principles, not material ones. It responds not to your actions, but to your state of consciousness. So, I urge you, let go of the need to force. Let go of the belief that struggle and strain are necessary for achievement. Instead, cultivate the art of allowing. Learn to live in the state of the wish fulfilled, no matter what your outer circumstances may be telling you. This is not always easy, I know. The world around you may seem to contradict your inner, knowing at every turn. But remember, the outer world is only a shadow. It is your inner world that is the reality, the causative force. Stand firm in your assumption. No matter what the evidence of your senses may tell you, no matter what others may say, hold fast to the truth of your imaginal act, for it is this, and this alone, that has the power to reshape your world. Now, let me address a question that often arises when I speak of these principles. Some of you may be wondering, but Wayne, what about the suffering in the world? What about injustice and inequality? Surely we must take action to change these things. We must take action. But it must be inspired action. Action that springs from a changed consciousness. For if we act from the same consciousness that created these conditions, we will only perpetuate them, no matter how noble our intentions. If you wish to change the world, my friends, you must first change yourself. You must first embody the change you wish to see. For the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of the inner states of the collective consciousness. Imagine a world where every individual understood and applied these principles. Imagine a world where each person lived from the state of their wish fulfilled, where no one felt the need to force or struggle or compete. Can you see how radically different such a world would be? This, my dear friends, is the great work to which we are all called. It is not a work of outer reform, but of inner transformation. It is not a work of force, but of allowing the divine pattern within each of us to unfold naturally and perfectly. And make no mistake, this work begins with you, right here, right now. In this very moment, you have the power to change your world by changing your consciousness. You have the power to let go of force and embrace the art of allowing. So I challenge you, my friends, for the next week, commit to living from the state of your wish fulfilled. Choose one desire, one change you wish to see in your life. Create a scene that implies the fulfillment of this desire. Make it as vivid and as real as you can. Then, every night before you sleep, enter into this scene. Feel it, live it. Make it so real that when you open your eyes, you're almost surprised to find yourself back in your present circumstances. But don't stop there. Carry the feeling of fulfillment with you throughout your day. No matter what your outer world shows you, hold fast to your inner knowing. Don't force, don't struggle, simply allow. And watch, my friends, watch how your world begins to change. Watch how doors open that you never knew existed. Watch how the very circumstances of your life rearrange themselves to match your new state of consciousness. This is the law in action. This is the power that has been given to you, that lies dormant within you, waiting to be awakened. Remember, you are not some helpless victim of circumstance. You are not at the mercy of external forces. You are the operating power in your world. You are the God of your universe, creating your reality with every thought, every feeling, every assumption. So choose wisely, my friends. Choose to live from the end. Choose to embody the state of your wish fulfilled. Choose to trust in the law to allow your good to flow to you naturally and effortlessly. For in this choice lies your freedom. In this choice lies your power. In this choice lies the key to creating the life you truly desire. And as we come to the close of our talk this evening, I want to leave you with one final thought. The principle we've discussed, don't force anything, is not just a technique for manifesting your desires. It is a way of life, a state of being that aligns you with the very rhythm of the universe. When you cease to force, when you learn to allow, you open yourself to the infinite intelligence that pervades all things. You become a channel through which the divine can express itself in the world. And in this state of allowance, of surrender to your highest self, you will find a peace and a joy that no outer circumstance can shake. You will move through life with grace and ease, knowing that all is well, that all is unfolding perfectly according to the divine pattern within you. So go forth, my dear friends, and apply what you have learned. Let go of force, embrace the art of allowing, and watch as miracles unfold in your life. For you are the miracle, you are the power, you are the divine made manifest. Thank you, and may God bless you all.